learners, welcome to the module on farm organization. In this module, we will go through the basic ideas and concepts that guide how farm organizations are run. So this module discusses the strategies of managing and running farms successfully in the changing agricultural environment of today. And it also comprehends the various types of farm organization to exploring the essential elements of a farm organization. So dear learner, at the very beginning, let's have a discussion of what is a farm. So this is the very basic question comes to the mind, and it is essential to address before going to the main contents. So what is a farm? If we say about a farm, the definition of farm, what comes to our mind? The picture, that is, if we say a farm, the picture like a land, area and some infrastructure, and a farmer who manages all the production activities. This actually picture comes to our mind when we call it as a farm. However, in contemporary economics, what happened? This idea is being obsolete and more complex organizational structures have emerged. Thus, the farm business organization concept has undergone transformation throughout the history, and it adapted to various changes like technological changes, economic shift and social demand. So now if we go for the farm organization definition, it can be defined how agricultural activities are structured, coordinated and administered. The farm business is generally concerned with the organizational setup under which the farm is being run. Dear learners, if we go for a farm business setup, we can compare some situations, and there are certain questions. These are basic questions which generally comes to our mind. Like if we say about a farm business setup, the question like who is the owner of the land, whether the resources are pooled or used individually, and who makes the managerial decision. These are three basic questions which are concerned with a farm business setup. Now we can compare many situations of farming systems. Like under the farming systems, one systems like there may be instances in which a single person owns the land and he is in the charge of deciding what has to be produced, how it should be produced and where it should be sold. Then there is another situation which is different from these previous situations, where a group of people own the property. Okay, so they work together in the farm and an executive committee is established to make the necessary decisions. Then we can cite another systems of farming, that is another situations where a tenant farmer receive land from a landlord on a share basis. So what happened in this case? The tenant determines what needs to be done on the farm. It supplies labor and all others inputs like fertilizer, seed, except the land. Okay, and share the profit with the landlord. So these are certain situations of farm business setup. Now come to the key component. Okay, there are in a farm business organization, there are certain key components. So moving to the key components of a farm business organizations, the components may be categorized into two categories: structural and operational. The structural components are like legal structure, which defines how a farm is owned and managed. Okay, it may be family owned, partnership, corporation and cooperative. So we will discuss elaborately about these types of organizations in later part of this discussion. Then the consideration of resources. Resources means land, labor, capital, and also the technology. So what happened? For an effective farm business, it is very important to strategically manage all these resources. Now come to the operational components. So what are the operational components in a farm business setup? So the operational components are like selection of enterprise, then production planning. So which production plannings are going to follow, then financial management and strategies, marketing strategies. So what happened in enterprise selection? During selection of enterprise, that is what agricultural activities are going to do. That is including crop cultivation, livestock rearing, and also some value-added agricultural activities. So a pre-analysis is required for factors like to analyze the market demand, profitability, and resource availability. So pre-analysis is required before setting up a farm organization to see these factors like demand in the market, its profitability, and resource availability. Now, as already discussed above, the farm business organization can be categorized into different types based on the ownership, management, etc. So first let's discuss about peasant farming. What is a peasant farming? It is a traditional farming system. It is a small scale traditional farming mainly focused on subsistence living with limited resources. Here the resources are very limited. As name is as peasant, and this is later on the peasant are called as farmer. What happened? In this form of farming, individual farmer is the owner, manager, and he organizes the farm and all farming activity. As it is said that in this system the farmer is the owner, so the biggest advantage of this farming is that farmer is totally independent in his decision making. He makes all the decisions and makes all the plans for his farm depending upon the resource which are generally not seen in other farm business organization types. Therefore, compared to other farms, one drawback here is the resource limitation, including the land at the disposal of the farmer. So here there is I have already mentioned there is a limitation of resources, which is a disadvantage from other type of farming systems or farm organizations. Therefore, he has to judiciously use these resources to run the farm business profitably. Since there is a long debate regarding this appearance of the peasant farming. Why? Because it assumed that the contribution of peasant farming to the national economy compared to other farming is less, and it also changing with the growing of entrepreneurial agriculture. However, interestingly, many studies like we can cite some example of the two countries of Egypt, like Egypt and Tanzania, during post-colonial time, where peasant farming was seen contributed as large to the national economy. So the debate basically emphasizes the need for a careful strategy. So some peasants farms may find it difficult to change, but others may manage to sustain. So in addition to promoting sustainable agriculture and cultural preservation, supporting this small scale business can help ensure food security. So this is a very brief about peasant farming. Now come to the cooperative farming. So what is a cooperative farming? It is a form of farm business organization in which persons unite voluntarily. Okay, so pool their land, resources, and cultivate land jointly. This is a kind of joint venture. The collaborative approach are basically based on certain principles. The principles of mutual support, shared decision making, collective ownership of the assets. If we see the history of cooperative farming, it can be traced back to the various agricultural community where farmers used to collaborate for resources, knowledge and labors. However, the modern concept was emerged during 19th century, basically in Europe, and it was driven by need for the efficient and sustainable farming practices to meet the growing demand of population and also to meet the changing economic condition. And now in recent years, this cooperative farming have adopted in various forms throughout the world, and they have played a crucial role in supporting small-scale farming and sustainable practices. Now let's see the types of cooperative farming. There are different types of cooperative farmings. The All India Cooperative Planning Committee in 1951 classified cooperative farming into 4 categories. These are Cooperative Better Farming Society, Cooperative Joint Farming Society, Cooperative Tenant Farming Society, and Cooperative Collective Farming Society. So what is Cooperative Better Farming Society? What happened? In this type, any 10 or more cultivars, more farmers can form into a better farming society. Here the ownership as well as the operation is individual, and all the members abide by a plan. They prepared a plan, and all the members abide by a plan of cultivation adopted by the society. The society arranges for the adoption of better methods of cultivation and joint purchase of input, etc. So what happens here? Every member is free to follow his own plan except for the purposes agreed. Okay, here the members are free. Every member are free to follow their own plan. The administration is done by a managing committee elected by the general body. Here a managing committee is constituted, which is being elected by general body, and it is govern all the activities of the farm. Now come to the cooperative joint farming. What happened in cooperative joint farming society? The ownership is individual and operation is collective. Here what happened? Ownership is individual but operations are collective. In the previous one, the ownership and operation both are in collective, but here the operation is collective, whether the ownership is individual. Individual owners of land merge their lands and other resources in order to form compact blocks for joint cultivation. This pooling of land permits the scientific methods of cultivation, and the management of the society is in the hands of an elected body. All the members work jointly and each member gets wages for his daily work, and the ownership of the land is recognized by the payment of the dividend in proportion to the value of his land. Now come to the cooperative tenant farming society. In this case, the landless people organize into a farming society. Here the ownership is collective but the operation is individual, just opposite to the cooperative better farming society. Land of the society is divided into plots and leased out for cultivation to individual cultivators. Society draws a plan for the best cultivation of the land, and the society arranges for the cultivation requirement and also the marketing of the produce. The society arranges the requirement which are actually needed for the cultivation, and they also arranges the marketing facility for all the produces. Every member is responsible. In this case, every member is responsible for the payment of rent only to the society. Here the payment of rent is paid to the society by the every member. Now come to the cooperative collective farming society. So in this farming society, ownership as well as operation is collective. It is a combination of two farm organization like cooperative better farming society and cooperative tenant farming society. So here what happened, ownership as well as operation both are collective. Members do not have any right on the land. The members of the society farm organizations do not have any right on the land. Administration is the same as that of joint farming society. Members work jointly and they are paid according to the volume of the work contributed or distributed to them. Profits are distributed according to the labor and capital invested by the farmer. Now next is the capitalist farming. So what is capitalist farming? Under capitalist farming, the farms are large and owned by the capitalist. These farms enjoy plentiful resources. There are unlimited resources. These are managed by either individuals or groups. What happened? These are in this farm. These farms are quite efficient using the latest technology available. So this farm basically use the latest technology in the field of agriculture or in the field of crop cultivation and the related to agricultural activity. But this form of farming is not common features in the India. So what happened? This is not a common practice in Indian scenario. This is actually basically practiced in countries like USA, Canada, UK, etc. These farms enjoy plenty of capital and organizational strength, as its names itself reflects. But the limitation of this type of farm business organization is that the actual cultivar is not the owner of the farm. This is the main limitation of this business organization. Now come to the collective farming. Collective farm is a group of farming family who basically pool their resources, that is land, livestock, machinery, etc. and decide to work together under a management committee, and this management committee is elected by them itself. The management committee is responsible for the overall farm management. The management committee, which is elected by the members, is responsible for the overall management of the farm, allocation of the work and distribution of the income. This type of farming is also not prevalent in India. Okay, so Russia and China follow this type of farm business organization. The production plan on the farm is laid down by the state, and the farmers have to sell a fixed portion of the output to the state, and incentives are paid to the farmers for the improvement of the farm. Now next come to the state farming. So what is a state farming? These are owned, managed and run by the state. Okay, here the name itself is a state farming. So these are owned, managed and run by a state. State farms are equipped with latest machinery and equipment, and they also many scientific cultivations are followed in this kind of farm organization. The worker of this farming are wage learner. Okay, the farmer which are employed, which are work in this state farming are wage earner. The production is not restricted to only the food grains. This kind of farm also produces some raw materials, raw products like cotton, wool, etc. State farming is suitable in newly reclaimed areas where large scale mechanized cultivation is possible. Now come to the contract farming. Contract farming, what is this? This is another emerging farming system. It is basically nowadays followed in India. So what is contract farming? Contract farming can be defined as agricultural production carried out according to an agreement. It is based on an agreement, and this agreement is between a buyer and a farmers, which establishes some preconditions for the production and marketing of a farm product or produces. What happens in this system? Typically, the farmers agrees to provide agreed quantities of a specific agricultural product. Dear learners, now you can check your progress by attempting the following questions. So with this, I come to the conclusion of today's discussion. In the next module, we'll discuss about contract farming elaborately. Thank you.